Welcome back. Today we have What If Deku Had Voice Manipulation Quirk? Shout out to Chimera_Agarian for this awesome story. And let's start this ride. Me. So you didn't have to heal me if it gives you such a drawback. Izuku. No, it would have pained me to see you hurt the whole time. Besides, I wouldn't have forgiven myself because of it. Then he snuggled closer to me. I could tell that he was freezing. He was not only shivering, but his skin felt also cold. The fact that he was dripping wet didn't help at all. We waited until the reinforcement came, and they took the heroes and the detective to a hospital. Since Izuku didn't look so well either, he was also getting to the hospital. He didn't want it to, and struggled, never said a word out loud since other people were he. However, he soon collapsed while we were arguing. I caught him and placed him in an ambulance. They told me he overworked himself and caught a fever because he was also wet and exposed to the cold air. In the hospital, I made sure that Izuku, Aizawa, and Yamda were in the same room, just in case the greenie wanted to escape again. I also placed one of my smallest feathers in the dry clothing he was in now. A male nurse changed him, and I told him to put it into his pocket. With that, I could always find him without any trouble. Feverish noetmers, Izuku POV. Everything is so dark. I can't see anything. I feel like I'm drowning. Where am I? As I looked around me, I saw a door. It looks like normal door, but leads to nowhere. Just a door, no path, no walls. I could walk around the door and look behind it. There was nothing, just darkness and a door that has a faint glow to it. I wonder what's behind this door. I slowly approached the door and opened it. I could see a room that is all too familiar to me. How is this possible? I walked right through the door, escaping the void. Everything is better than the darkness behind me. It feels like it wants to consume me. The moment I close the door, it disappears, and then realization hits me. This was my room when I was around 4 years old. Flashback. I was lying on my bed as I could hear my mother and father arguing again. Ever since that day, I was appointed to have a powerful quirk that was a combination from my mother's and father's side. My mother stopped caring about me, and she started drinking. A couple of weeks later, I could hear my parents discussing something, even yelling at each other. I couldn't understand any word, but judging by their voices, I would say something bad is going on. They were both angry, and I was scared. Every time I looked my mother in her eyes, I could see the hatred and disappointment in them. If mom gets mad, she will hit me again. I don't want to get beaten up again. My whole body was covered in bruises. Each time my mother would start hitting me, sometimes using a bat or a whip. She also attached a collar on me so that I can't run away. I tried to run once, but I really regretted that choice soon after that. Once she starts hitting me, she won't stop until she's satisfied. Time skip about 2 years provided by a terrified Izuku. I am now 6 years old. Nothing really changed. My mom is beating me up nearly every day. I only get to eat once a week from a dog bowl, and she would tie me up to the wall. I am not allowed to eat at the table. I am not allowed to talk to her. She said that's normal for a stupid, useless bastard like me. I really envy Kakin for his quirk. I could only wish for any other one than mine. 1 year ago, Kakin and the others started to be mean to me. I do not understand why. I am forced to say that I am quirkless, but that doesn't mean that I am not a person, right? They started to hurt me and use their quirk on me. First, I thought that they only trained with me, but it soon started to hurt more and more. Kakin's quirk is causing some burns on my skin. Since then, every day is getting harder and harder. Time skip about 2 years provided by a lonely and broken Izuku. Today is the day that my father left us for a year because of a business trip he needed to do. I knew that he loved my mother and would do anything for her, but after she started drinking, he took ever now and then the chance to get away from home. I guess he needed a break from us. He just packed his things and left. Love is really weird. After he left, mom chained me in my room and looked me up so that I couldn't escape her wrath. She then started beating me until I couldn't feel anything. I stood there frozen in place. I know that I'm not allowed to make a notice, but I still can't help it. It hurts so much. Mom, please. What did you just say, you useless brat? I instantly regretted talking to her. I knew what would happen next, but I didn't thought that she was ready to kill me. She unlocked the door and went straight out. I was relieved that I wouldn't feel more pain. 10 minutes later came in with a kitchen knife in her hand. Eyes wide open, I began to shiver hard. Mom, no, that woman is not my mom. She will kill me. I am scared. I don't want to die. She was watching me with amusement. I could tell she was having fun with this. I didn't know what I should do. Should I scream? Will she stop then? No, even if I wanted, I couldn't. I was frozen in place. Fear is written all over my face. Let's see how you like this. She instantly started to come closer to me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run, but my body failed me. I could only watch in horror what she is about to do next. She started to cut me slightly on my legs. Blood began dripping down my wounds, but that wouldn't stop her. She then began cutting me on my arms. I thought that it would hurt, but I couldn't feel anything anymore. Not even a flinch. It was like I was already dead. You useless brat. If only I never gave birth to you, then Hisashi would be here with me. We would have lived happily together. You are the reason he left me. You are pathetic. Why won't you scream, brat? I knew better than to answer her taunting. Huh? Why aren't you saying anything, stupid bastard? She then throws me on my bed, which is basically only a blankets on the floor, and starts cutting my back. With each cut, she would place more force on the blade, so that each one is deeper. It hurts so bad. I could see little black dots. It became darker and darker each moment. Finally, I passed out. At some point, she must have left my room, because the next day I woke up covered in blood and thanking God I was still alive. Asterisk end of flashback asterisk. I still remember my mother cutting, stabbing, burning, and beating me up. These were all memory of my past. 1 year later, my father came back, and my mother stopped beating me up on a daily basis. She would now beat me up once a week or twice, but no more than that. Then all of a sudden, the room I was in started to fade, only for me to be greeted with the same darkness once again. I couldn't stand any longer, my eyes wide open and crying. I fell down. I was alone. Nobody wants something like me. I was crying my eyes out until I could see a tray of light in this darkness. Hawk's feather? I was too weak to stand up. I didn't want to be here any longer. Hawk's feather? I could hear Hawk's calling for me. I wanted to answer him, but nothing came out of my mouth. Hawk's, wake up, feathers. The light starts spreading, and before I know it, I was enveloped in it. I woke up crying and sweating. Opening my eyes, I was immediately met with pure brightness. Hawk's, thank God, feathers. It was only a dream. No one can hurt you anymore. I won't let anyone hurt you. It was only just a dream. No, it was more than that. It was my past, my memories, which were haunting me. I could feel something soft touching my cheek. Still laying in the bed, I slowly moved my shaky hand to it. Soft and warm. That was all I could tell from touching it. I moved it away from my face a little bit up, and I saw that it was one of his feathers. Hawk's, it calmed you down a little bit while I wasn't here. Thank you for getting me out of the nightmare. Finally, I turned my head to him. Hawk's, how are you feeling? Me like shit. Hawk's, figured that much. Me, what happened? Hawk's, you got a really high fever. I closed my eyes once again. It was way too bright in the room, and I was tired as heck. Looks like the fever isn't gone. Hawk's, rest, feathers. Next time you wake up, you will be feeling better. I wanted to respond, but I couldn't. I was too weak for that. Only then did I realize the smell in the room. A hospital. I hope my mic and eraser were not in the room right now. Otherwise, they should know that I am Siren by my voice. Well, even if it's too late now to regret answering his question, I let darkness consume me and take me hopefully to a better place this time. My savior, Shinso's POV. I went to the hospital with my dad, and as we wanted to see my brother, Izuku. Me. How did you find him? Dad. Aizawa Hawks found him. Me. I still can't believe what you told me. Dad. Believe it or not, but he did toy with us. Me. Still funny if I think about this. Say, isn't Siren the only one that could escape from you till now? Dad. No one ever escapes. Dad expects Siren. I wonder if he is Siren. With his skill, he might be, but he is quirkless. He can't be Siren. We arrived at the hospital, and the moment we opened the door and stepped in, Hawks was leaning toward Izuku and kissing him lightly on his lips. I saw the kiss and jealousy spread through my mind. Why am I jealous? He is my brother? Wait a second. Greenish black hair? Aizawa. And what do you think you were doing, chicken? Hawks quickly stepped back and looked flustered. He didn't think he would be caught like this. My dad was furious and used his capture scarf at Hawks. He then dragged Hawks outside the room. Rip Hawks. I was now alone with Izuku in a room. It was the first time I got a better look at him. Greenish black hair and cute freckles covering his face. Me cute. Did I really just say that? Focus Hitoshi. He has greenish black hair like the Siren back then. This might just be a coincidence. He looks like he is in a lot of pain. I went to Izuku's side and grabbed his hand, squeezing it a little bit. I hope this can wake him up from the nightmare. He then opened his eyes and looked at me for a short time before falling back to sleep. Toxic emerald green eyes. This can't be him, Siren. I finally found my savior, and the person who caught my heart. I knew at the moment I saw his eyes. How is this possible? Is this some kind of sick joke? The very first person I fell in love is my brother? The sad truth was that with me being adopted and Izuku being Mick's son, we were brothers. Although we weren't by blood, we were still technically by name. My name was Hitoshi Shinso, but my real name, the name that was in the system, was Hitoshi Yamato Aizawa. In order to not get them in trouble and for others to find it out very easily, I used my old name. Considering the possibility that a villain could find out their names, I would be an easy target. I don't care if he is my brother legally. We are not related by blood. This is all I care. I watched him. He looked like he was so much in pain. His breathing increased tremendously. Me, it's okay. Nothing can harm you here. He was still freaking out, and I couldn't help it anymore. I went ahead and hugged him. Me, it's okay. Calm down. He relaxed a little bit. I then let him loose and sat on his bed beside him. In the next moment, I laid there with him, hugging him. It seems to relax him a lot. Then I saw a red feather. It began to pet his cheek softly, and I once again felt my jealousy rise. However, what was more important was to get Izuku to calm down at the moment. I laid there for about 15 minutes and fell asleep. Next thing I know, I was woken up by someone petting my hair. I looked up and saw Izuku wide awake. The moment our eyes met, he smiled at me. Then he motioned me to be quiet and pointed to a yellow thing on the floor. Oh, the sleeping caterpillar, I understand. I nodded. How long was I laying there? As I was thinking that, the door to Izuku's room quietly went open and Hawks came in. Hawks, what the dash? Feathers. Hawks then dispatched dome feathers and attacked me while I was still laying on the bed. I quickly jumped down from it and backed away. Me. What the hell, man? You got a bird brain or what? Hawks, he is mine. Me, no, he is not. Hawks. Yes, he is. Me. And no, he is not. Aizawa. Enough. I looked at my father, who was now out of his cocoon and used his quirk for intimidation purposes. Since when are you awake? Izuku was covering his ears with his hands. I saw Hawk's eyes widen of shock. He must have realized something I did not. He ran straight to Izuku's side and removed his hands from his ears. Hawks, whispering, I am so sorry, Feathers. I didn't mean to. Blood was covering Izuku's hand. It wasn't much, but there was still blood on his hand and a little bit dripping from his ears. I must have looked confused as Dad came to my side and whispered to me. Dad, whispering he is sensitive hearing. Me whispering, oh. I then went to Izuku's other side where Hawks wasn't standing. Me whispering, I am sorry, Izuku. He then signed something that I could not understand. I do not know sign language. However, my father does, and he was so kind of translated. Dad, whispering, he said it isn't your fault. It happens from time to time, and he isn't angry with either of you. Thank God. I wouldn't know what I would do if he was angry at me. A nurse came in with a pair of headphones. She gave it to my beloved one and then gave him some space. Nurse, we would like to keep you here for another night, if that would be okay for everyone. Dad, why? Nurse, although his fever vanished for now, there is still a chance that he will develop it again if he doesn't rest properly. Dad, I understand. Nurse, I am sorry, but I also need to ask you three to leave. Our visiting hours are over, and even if you are family members, he needs rest and quietness. Hawks, I see you tomorrow, Feathers. Me, see you soon, Zuko. Dad, I advise you to rest, problem child. Please do not cause any problems. He nodded and we all left the room. Tea party. Nezu POV. I heard from Yamda that they finally got their son back. However, the child was so cunning as to escape them again and literally toying with them the whole day. Detective Sakachi was also telling me that the last time we met for a siren meeting a day ago. It was really amusing to hear that, and I had a feeling that Izuku was connected to Siren. I was still not sure about the connection itself, but there was one, I could feel it. Today was finally the day Yamato would bring Izuku to me. Aizawa informed me yesterday that he needed to stay in the hospital for a day and that he would be released by tomorrow. However, Aizawa, being Aizawa, he needed to get him out earlier. This is why he was staying only over the night. I was happy and very curious to finally meet Midoriya. I had the whole day to get to know him. They already informed me that he is mute, or they at least think he is. This was a challenge I took personally to find out. It was around 7:30 when Aizawa finally came in with Izuku by his side. The boy had his headphones on, and I would have considered it rude if I didn't know it better. There was always a possibility that the person had a quirk that would enhance their senses. Aizawa informed me beforehand that he had sensitive hearing. Me. Good morning. Izuku. Signing morning. Aizawa morning. Now listen, Izuku. You will be staying with Nezu till 4 p.m. That's when I will get you. Izuku turned to him and nodded. Then my teacher exited the office and left us alone. Me, please have a seat. I pointed to the 2 couches in my office. Me, do you want some tea? Izuku, signing, may I prepare it? Me, why would you want that? Izuku, signing, I wanted to know if my tea preparing skills would be good enough for your liking. How do you know that I like tea? Me, of course, go ahead. I watched Izuku go to the tea selection I had and began mixing some of the tea leaves. He then proceeded in heating the kettle I had over the mini inductive stovetop. I watched how he carefully prepared 2 different sets of tea. One I assumed was for himself and one for me. It was such a nice and captivating sight seeing him work with such elegance. After the tea was done, he placed both of the cups on the table in between the couches. Izuku, signing, I hope it to your liking. I took a sip and my eyes widened. This is godly. This reminds me of the tea skill Siren has. I watched Izuku sipping at his cup. Me, this is one of the best teas I ever tasted. Where did you learn to prepare it that way? Izuku, signing, glad you like it. Me, I have some questions for you. You don't have to answer them if you don't like. Izuku, signing, why don't we play a game of chess, and every time someone loses a piece, the opponent will ask a question. Such a brilliant idea. Me, all right, let me prepare the chessboard. White or black? Izuku, signing, black. Me, okay. And so began our little chess game. I was seriously impressed. He never gave me a chance to even take one of his pieces except 5 pieces. In contrary to my miserable fail, he took every single piece. 1 white piece. Izuku, signing, what do you know about Siren? Interesting question. So you really are connected with Siren? Me, he is a well-known vigilante. I would like to speak to him in person, but never got the chance to do so. 2 white piece. You are playing rather aggressive. This will cost you the game dearly. Izuku, signing, why do you want to talk to him in person? Why so protective? Is he a close friend? Nezu, he simply piqued my interest. 1 black piece. Nezu, why are you asking about Siren? Izuku, signing, because all the questions you wanted to ask are about my connection to him. How did he know that? Who are you really, Izuku Midoriya? What is your quirk? 3 white piece. I sacrificed another piece in order to usher him in my trap. Izuku, signing, what will you do when you see him in person? You really care about him a lot. Nezu, nothing much. I wanted to give him an offer. 4 white piece. So you saw the trap I placed. No one ever did that besides Siren in our online games. Your moves also are similar to him. At this rate, I am beginning to think that you are Siren. Izuku, signing, what should I do when I don't want to go back to Mike? Why the change of topic so sudden? Me, that depends. Why don't you want to go back? Izuku, signing, it doesn't feel like he really is my father, and I don't really feel at home with him. Me, I see. Well, you could stay with me if you want to. 5 white piece. Izuku, signing, why would you suggest that? Me, because you remind me of Siren, and you obviously have a brilliant mind. 6 white piece. Izuku, signing, so I will be a bnha pig for your curiosity? Me, oh hell no. You are not an experiment for my desires. I simply enjoy the company of a bright mind. 2 black piece. Finally, I can ask him what I wanted to. Me, are you Siren? Izuku, yes. Took you long enough, Nezu. His voice threw me off. Knew it. The tea. The way he plays chess. The capability of escaping Aizawa. And the sad reality that he was able to toy with 3 pro heroes plus 1 detective. This should have been quite obvious. And yet it took me a good while to figure it out. I must admit this was quite the good cover for your identity as Siren. We now didn't care who was taking which piece. Questions were asked one after another. Me, it is quite the honor to meet you. Izuku, likewise. Me, my offer was for you to be a student at my school, but you are obviously too young for that. Izuku, how old did you think I was? Me, I did had my suspicions that you were 11 to 12 years, but I was still hoping that you would be a little bit older. Izuku, so, did you really meant what you said with me staying with you? Me, yes. It would be a pleasure for me to have you around. Izuku, I would like that very much. Me, great, then I will get you a room here on UA's ground. You will be staying with me from now on. Izuku, wouldn't that be a problem since Mike is my father and has guardianship over me? Me, not a problem at all. I will get the paper ready for him to transfer it to me. Izuku, can you give the paper to me if he doesn't want to sign them? Me, sure, but can I ask on why you would want them? Izuku, I have my ways on getting him to sign it, and I also believe being in UA's custody would be more benefiting for me, plus he is also a teacher here, so he would still have some kind of guardianship. Me, that is true. Izuku, checkmate. With that, our game was over, and I totally fell for his trap. Me, You got me good there. It was such a brilliant trap. I didn't even realize it till it was too late. Izuku. Well, it is fun playing with you. Me. You never stop amazing me, Siren. Izuku. Call me Izuku. I don't want anyone to find out who I am. Me. Oh sure, no problem, your secret is safe with me, and I also will provide you with some gadget you might need for the future. So do not hesitate to ask for anything. Izuku. Thank you. Entertainment. Izuku's POV. I spent the whole day with Nezu talking about me, well, more precise, Siren, and my quirk. Nezu was very interested to hear about it, since it is a combined quirk and very powerful. He also asked me about my sensitive hearing, and I told him my problem with one of the drawbacks where they get extremely sensitive. The mouse thing in return immediately called Power Loader to his office, and here we are talking about some new headphones for me. Nezu, can you make some pair of noise-canceling headphones for the green bean over here? Green bean? Power Loader? Is that Mixed Child? The one that made him worry so much? Me. Signing sure am. My name is Izuku Midoriya. It's nice to meet you. Power Loader. Call me Majima. Nice to meet you too. Nezu. You see, my child Izuku here has very sensitive hearing, and the one he currently has on it is already old and looks pretty used. I'd like to give him some new ones. Can you make them? Wait, did he just call me his? I am honored. Nezu will be my dad. Whoever said I can't choose my family was wrong. Power Loader. I see. No problem. I can make them. How sensitive is your hearing, Izu? Me? Signing very sensitive. If I would put them down, I would be able to hear what is going on in the whole school. For me, it's too much, and you could compare it to a screaming classroom. Power Loader. Okay, thank you for explaining it. I'm gonna go and prepare them for you. Once I am finished, I will send someone to bring it here. Me. Signing thank you so much. I gave him my best and brightest smile I could offer. While I did that, I could hear Nezu saying something, and I immediately knew by the sound of his voice that he was jealous. Why would you be jealous? Emotions are too complicated. I don't need to understand it. Nezu, as bright as the sun. Oh, what is he talking about? Then Power Loader exited the room, leaving us two geniuses alone. Me, can I go and have a look around? Nezu, sure, and by the way, how did you enter the other day? Me, oh, that was unexpected simple. Nezu, simple? This is one of the best protected facilities. Nosticero. I thought that too, but I still did it anyways. Me. Yeah, figured, but it really wasn't that hard. Nezu. Well, it's like I need to upgrade it. Would you mind helping me out and test it for me when it's finished? Me, sure, I would love to. I don't have anything against a good challenge. Nezu. Now tell me, how did you get into the support classroom? Me. Jumped over the fence and vented. I still consider myself lucky to have found the hatch to it. Nezu, you vented? Me, yep. Nezu, how? How did you even know to navigate through it? I did design it myself. It is an impossible labyrinth just for this purpose. More importantly, how did you bypass the lock? Me. Oh yes, it is, and it is a masterpiece. I'm going to give you that. Well, you see, my quirk helped me, and all I had to do was find the right frequency, and I was in. Nezu. I see. Are you perhaps also able to use echolocation? Me, yes, just found it out that day. Nezu. That explains everything. How very intriguing. Then we both took a sip simultaneously out of our cup of tea. Nezu. Now that I heard it, you may go and explore, but be back in an hour. Me, okay. I then stood up and began to look the whole school. There was this feeling I had that I needed to know my way around here, and I also personally like the idea of knowing every inch of this place, just in case I needed to hide or escape very fast. After 30 minutes, walking around, I was sure that I knew the layout of the building. Time to mess with my father. Now that I got a rough feeling where everything was, it was easy to find my father just by his voice. I took my headphones off and listened for a brief moment. English, huh? Well, I am sure the class is getting bored to death by you. Let's spice things up. I put them back on, and thanks to the echolocation I used while breaking in, and now with the tour I gave myself, I knew exactly where what was. There was no problem for me getting to his class. I was currently standing in front of it and thinking about what I should do, and decided just to go in and improvise. I concentrated on my presence and erased it. Then I opened the door quietly and got in. No one really paid attention to the door opening and closing. Mike was also standing with his back, facing me a little bit closer to the students. This will be so much fun. A little scare won't kill anyone. Plus, I get my fun out of it. I then creeped up to him slowly and quiet like a cat would do. Then I went behind him, and he was leaning back on his teacher's desk, so I decided to climb it up and was now standing there. Can I have your attention? Great, thanks. Everyone was now looking at Mike, or better to say, behind it right at me. Mike, oh, it's nice to see that you're finally all up and listening to the fullest. Glad you like the topic. Now let's go on, as if you were boring them out of their minds. I put my finger to my mouth telling them not to say a thing, and the whole classroom surprisingly nodded in response. Seeing as my father did some motions with his hand, I began mimicking them, only that I was exaggerating. The class was holding back their laughter. Some couldn't and started snickering. Mike then took a step forward and began walking to the side, still holding his back to me. In response to his movement, I simply jumped down the desk. Again, I had the elegance of a cat and didn't do any noises. Then I walked with him, still holding 1 or 2 steps distance, and I was also closer to the chalkboard, mocking him in every step I did. The class soon erupted into laughter, and the poor hero didn't understand why until I decided to pounce on him. Enough with that, let's scare you. Mike didn't see me, nor hear me, nor did he know that I was there. As I jumped and hugged him from behind, he screamed. Using his quirk to the fullest, jumped and turned behind in order to look behind him. I was still holding myself onto his back as I had my hands around his neck in a hugging position. It took some seconds for the hero to realize that, and then he grabbed my hands and threw me over his shoulder. What the fuck? I realized what he was doing and got ready for the impact. As soon as he let go of me in midair, I proceeded and made a turn. This was necessary or my back would hit the ground hard, and I didn't want that. As I turned, I saw the ground coming and landed on all 4. Then I looked up at him confused. What's up, man? You know you didn't need to throw me, right? But interesting reaction you have there. Mick's eyes went wide open as he realized what I just did and what he just did. The class was laughing so hard that some of the students fell down off their chairs and were holding their stomach laying on the ground. Others had tears in their eyes. Mission accomplished. Mike, Izuku, flinching and standing up from my position. I gave him the most innocent look I could do. Me? Signing yes? Mike, what are you doing here? Me. Signing Nezu told me I could explore the school, and I walked past your class and wanted to say hi. Mike, God kid, that's not how you say hi. Me. Signing true, but it was fun. Mike, where is Nezu? Me. Signing in his office. Mike, and you are wandering the school alone? Me. Signing yeah. Mike, I really need to have a word with him. I got Nezu into trouble. Damn it, I didn't want that. Me. Signing why? Mike, what do you mean why? You escaped me and show way too many times. I don't see your point. Me. Signing still why? Mike, are you really asking why? You could have gotten lost or escaped again. Not completely true, but hey, you can't know that. Me. Signing Mike. Shizuka? Shizuka. Yes, Mike Sensei? Mike, go and bring my son Izuka back to Nezu. Shizuka. Yes, Mike Sensei. She then walked up to me and guided me back to Nezu's office. The moment she left me with him, I saw a bunch of paper neatly placed on the table in a box. Me. What are the papers for? Nezu. Transfer of guardianship. Looks like the preparations are complete. Me. And the box? Nezu. Open it. I went to the table and opened the box. Inside I found brand new headphones. Oh my god. I love them. Me. Thank you. I looked in his direction and smiled with a smile, revolving the sun. Popcorn. Izuku POV. I was in Nezu's office with him, waiting for my father to come. The rat god knew my identity as Siren, which is not really surprising as I left plenty of hints for him. Although I must say it took him quite long to put the puzzle pieces together, he still did it. There was this small possibility that I didn't like the outcome, but I was sure he would be supportive seeing as how long he searched for me, and what we always were chatting while we played online chess. Even if he wanted to turn me in, he couldn't. Chicken Nugget was a complete slip-up, and Toshi. Well, Toshi saw me as Siren when I saved him, and there is nothing I could do. No, that isn't true. I could actually twist his memories, so that he can't remember Siren and let him forget me. However, I couldn't make myself to do it. I liked him, and I was happy to get rid of that brother title. Then there were Eraserhead, Mike, and my favorite detective Sakachi. I liked toying with them and giving them some breadcrumbs for them. It was fun watching them giving their hardest to figure my identity as Siren out. Now that I have Nezu on my side, nothing can stop me. I was so happy to know that Nezu is actually adopting me, and it wouldn't take long and the paper would be signed. All we had to do was wait for Mike to come in alone. Me. Say, do you have a plan, or are you just gonna blackmail him? Nezu. Oh please, I do have a plan. Blackmailing is only my second option. Me. Don't tell me your first plan is to ask nicely. Nezu. It is worth a shot. even if I don't think that it will not work. Is he serious right now? Me. AHM, you sure you don't want to let me handle this? Nezu, there is no need for you to do that. You know that I am Siren, and my quirk isn't called voice manipulation for nothing, right? Me. Okay, if you say so. But let me tell you one thing. He won't sign the papers even if you blackmail him. Well, I'm going to enjoy the show then. After 10 minutes, the school ended and Mike and Eraserhead came in. Nezu, Aizawa, I believe you got a meeting with Vlad King to take care of. What did I miss? Aizawa, Vlad King? Nezu, yep, Vlad King. Then the door opened and Vlad King came in. When did you call him to come to see you? Vlad King. Why was I called in? Don't look at me like that. I am innocent. From all the people in the room, everyone beside Nezu was looking at me. Do I have something on my face? Nezu, you and Aizawa have a school trip to plan. I want the first year hero classes and the Gen Ed class to participate. Aizawa, what class? Oh, right, he expelled everyone. Nezu, you're going to take over Yamada's Gen Ed class for the day and train them. At the end of the day, both classes will show off, and if there are any students with potential, then you will have a new class. Ha 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 ha. He got you good? No sleep for you sleep-deprived caterpillar. Nezu, now what are you waiting for? An invitation, perhaps? Go do your thing, caterpillar and wannabe vampire. Me, PFFF, caterpillar and wanna_be vampire. Ha 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 ha. LOL. I love this soon-to-be dad of mine. I wanted to laugh out loud, but I could not unless I wanted to give Mike a way that I could talk and had a voice. You are making this hard for me. The look on Aizawa's face was priceless. You know the look on a child's face if you take them their favorite toy away? Yep, that was the look he was giving Nezu before he and Vlad King exited the room. But before he did, he stopped in the door frame and looked at him. Aizawa, I don't get paid enough for this. I am sure you do. Does anyone have popcorn? Because I sure need it right now. No. Guess I should have asked Nezu beforehand. Nezu, I have prepared a bunch of documents that need your signature. Does he really think Mike is that dumb and won't even read though that? Especially when it is so thick. Mike, what are the paper for? Nezu, nothing important. That kind of sounds sus, don't you think? Mike, why does this say something about guardianship? Oh no, that cockatoo can read. Nezu, that is none of your concern. Now, why not just sign them and we can all go home? This won't be that easy. Mike took the pen and began looking through the pages. Why are you taking a pen immediately? Are you really going to sign them before reading though that much paper? I mean, I can understand it. It is too much to read, too many words and too many characters. No, now he is reading it. Well, there goes the easy and dumb way. He sure won't sign it now. Meek, what the hell are you thinking? Nezu, quiet. Mike looked guilty at me. Meek, Soriizu. Nezu, well, know that you actually read it. These are papers that would give me the full guardianship over Izuku. Mike, I'm not going to sign this. Why should I do that? Nezu, you sure? That was predictable. Here comes plan B. Nezu, okay, then how about this? Nezu took out his phone, then went to his desk to get an USB adapter for the phone and an USB stick. I do wonder what is on that. He then went to Mike and gave him the phone. Nezu, you either sign the paper or I will personally see to it that this goes out. And do not forget, I mean everything that is on the stick. There's also a lot more where this comes from. So the blackmailing things are on that stick? I need to get my hands on them one day. I saw Mick's face turn to one of pure horror. His mouth was opening and closing, not sure what to say. Mike, how did you get that? Oh, I want to see that too. Nezu, I have my way. Now what is your answer? Mick, no. Nezu-sai, well, it was nice knowing you then. Rip, Mike, what are you talking about? What are you going to do? Nezu, I'm going to send this to the news station, and this will ruin you and your whole hero career too. Well, it was nice knowing you even when it was for a short while. Nezu is scary, and I saw what he did with the school I called home years ago. He was the reason it got abandoned. He ruined the live of every teacher and even the students, ones that were involved in the case. I'm not going to make him mad or wait. He can't do anything to me. A hail to immunity and my quirky. I can dig up tons of shits about him. Well, you better not get on my bad side. Mike, wait a damn minute. What I did isn't that illegal, and I was a young and stupid teen. I can't remember doing this. No, this isn't me, Nezu, who said anything that it was real. Oh, damn, some deep fake evidence. You're playing dirty mister. How long have you been preparing these? Mike, you can't do that. That's illegal. Nezu, sure I can. Just watch me. However, I'm going to give you one last chance. Sign them. Me? No. Go to hell with them. Oh, you just signed your death there. Guess it is time I intervene. This is getting stupid. Me. sigh enough. Both of them looked at me surprised. Me, you are behaving like little children. What are you guys, 5? Besides, why not ask me who I wanted to stay with? I looked at both of them with my arms crossed. Meek, Siren, me. Yep, the one and only. Now sign the good damn paper. Besides, you won't remember that icy-bicey fact for much long. He looked at me and teared up right in front of me. Mike, but asterisk hitch, asterisk Izu. I feel bad for my actual father. Me. Okay, don't take this personal, but I don't feel the father-son bond between us, and I personally think Nezu would be a better dad. Mike, Izuku, Hitch, how can you say that? Hitch, why don't you give me a chance? Me. I never wanted to be with you or Aizawa in a household. How many times do I need to run away from you? That you finally get that dumb fact. He looked hurt and was crying his eyes out. Me, asterisk, sigh, asterisk. Well, it's time I end this once and for all. Me, sign them now. Mike took the pen that he threw at desk only moments after he read the paper and then signed it. Me, now forget you ever heard me talk and that I am Siren. All you will remember is that Nezu has some horrifying blackmails about you, and that is the reason you signed the paper. On top of that, you know that he will take care of me. Now that that is settled, I could use some tea. Me, Seeking, Dea, Nezu. Oh yes, please. Mike, Sob, I'm gonna miss you, Izu. It's not like I am dead. Besides, you will see me nearly every day in UA. After that, me and Nezu escorted him to Aizawa and let them leave. Nezu, shall we go now? Me. MHM. We then walked to the forest part and right to his house. Me, welcome to our home. He then began showing me around. Entrance area. Damn, this didn't look that big from the outside, but this place is actual huge. Then he showed me his room. Nezu, you look disappointed. Me, I thought it would be bigger considering the size of the house. Nezu, I get it. Well, you see, I like it cozy, and I am not often in this room. I have another room where I like to stay most of the time. That's just what a rat like you would say. Me, okay. He then walked to the door right beside the door that would lead us out of his room. It was a hidden door. Why doesn't this surprise me? Nezu, you will probably find me here more often. Me, okay. Nezu, if you need anything, and I mean anything, then come to me, okay? Me, okay. Then he began walking and resuming the house tour. Dining room, libraries. Why do you have so many books? Did you read them all? Oh, great, another library. What are you gonna do? Are you planning world domination? Then we walked to the kitchen and to another cozy area of the house. Bathroom. Then we walked to my room. Nezu, I hope you like it. You kidding me? Me, are you sure this is my room? Nezu, yes, why? Is there a problem? Yes, there is. This room is way too big for me. Me, no, it's just so big and luxurious. Nezu, that's exactly what you deserve, child. Before I could say anything else, he began walking out the door, but not without leaving me with a good night. So I took off my headphones, and all I could hear was Nezu's steps. It's so calm and quiet here. I flopped onto the bed, and the moment I closed my eyes, I immediately fell asleep. What a tragedy. Izuku POV. How did we end up in this situation? Why did this need to happen on the one day I was supposed to bond with my father? Why? Why them all out of all places? How did they even know who I was or that I was here? I am sorry. I am so sorry you guys got involved in it. I swear if they hadn't injected something into my system, I would have killed them all. I don't care how illegal it is, but no one lays even a single finger on one of my fathers. Even if I wanted Nezu to be my guardian, I still felt like Zawa and Zashi were my fathers too. It may be only a short time that I spent with them physically, but I was watching over Eraserhead and Mike from the shadows every time I patrolled. I might be Siren and all, but once I found out they're my family, I wanted to protect them more than anything else. Why can't you leave him alone and just take me? Please. I'm begging you, leave him alone. Please, please. Let him lay there and don't touch him. About 3 hours earlier. Wow. I can't believe I was so tired yesterday. But this bed though, I got the best sleep of my life. This is so comfy. The bed can swallow me up completely. I don't care anymore. This is so soft and warm. It was so soft. I also cuddled myself into the soft and fluffy duvet and slept like a bear though the winter. Once I was up, I could hear some people talking in the house. Why would the cockatoo and the caterpillar be here? I stood up from the bed with a heavy feeling. I don't want to leave this bed. This is heaven. Then someone knocked at my door lightly. I took my headphones, put them on, and went to the door. Aizawa, morning sleepyhead. Wait, how late is it? I let him in and went straight back to the bed and let myself fall into it once again. Aizawa, I know that feeling very well. Not even looking up, I signed to him. Me? Signing, you sure? Aizawa, pretty sure. Me. Signing, you don't look like it. Your eye bag says otherwise. Do you even know what a bed is? Aizawa. Insomnia is a bitch. Me. Signing why are you here, Caterpillar at? Aizawa. 1 p.m. Holy shit. Did I really sleep that much? Once I heard how late it was, I jolted out of bed and looked at him. Aizawa. What's up with you calling me Caterpillar? Me. Signing you serious asking that after you carry your yellow cocoon literally everywhere? Aizawa. It's a sleeping bag, not a cocoon, and I am not a caterpillar. Me. Signing sure, just tell this to yourself. You can't change my mind. Why are you here? Aizawa. Nezu gave me and Zashi some bonding time with you. We thought you needed more stuff since you were living here now, and that's why we were going to the mall. Me. Signing you sure this is a good idea? Aizawa. Not really, but Zashi wants it. Me. Signing okay. Then if it makes him a little bit happier than I am in. I feel bad about yesterday. I was a little bit too harsh, and even if he doesn't remember, I do. Aizawa. Great, now come on. Time skip brought to you by a sleeping siren in the back of the car. Aizawa POV. The moment we entered the car, Izuku immediately fell asleep. Mike, I'll look at the cute green bean. Me he is. Let's drive and let him rest. It was an hour drive to the biggest mall and the place where Zashi wanted to go. I was a little bit concerned since he had sensitive hearing, but since he agreed to it very easily, I thought that it would be all right. He looked so comfortable and at peace while he was sleeping. It was a shame that we needed to wake him up since already got to our destination. Me, you wake him. I feel bad doing it. Mike, me too. Can't we let him rest just a little bit longer? Me, we could. Then we saw Izuku steering up and slowly waking up from alone. Izuku. Signing we there? Mia? Izuku was yawning and it was so cute. Nothing will hinder us from spoiling him today. We made our way from the parking lot to the shops. First shops were some clothing shops cause he needed some new ones. What surprised us was what he'd choose. His first choices were hero merch, but not any hero merch no Mike and mine. It was true that I was an underground hero, but there were still some merch that had my goggles on them, and he immediately chose them. While we let Izuku pick up the stuffs he liked, me and Mike were watching him. He looked kind of like a lost puppy, and I was sure it was his first time in a mall. Mike, do you think it is his first time in the mall? Me. Did you see his reaction when we entered? Mike. Yes, and it was unexpected but so cute. Me. Agree, but I don't think he ever was in one. Remember what Nezu told us? Mike. Oh yeah, that bitch mistreated and ignored him. How can a mother be so cruel? I don't know. Mike, I am happy to hear that Endeavor got them and burned them in time, or I would have done something even crueler. You know what they deserve more than what they got. Me. I am sure you are not the only one who feels that way. Mike, you too? Me. Yes, and Nezu. Did you not see how protective he was about him? Mike, true. I am happy to know that he has a new home, and we could visit as often as we want. Me. Yeah, we will see him nearly every day, since he also will be attending our school. Mike. Yeah, I'm happy that Nezu will homeschool him in UA, but I still believe he should be in a normal school with others of his age. Izuku then came to us with some clothing. I was still thinking he could choose a lot more, but the kid refused to even go and take another look around. After having a look at the size he chose, I was sure that I would come here again and pick some more stuff for him. Mike was giving me a similar look, as if to say, is that all? We both shared the same though. Then we could hear his stomach growl, and both of us looked uncomfortable at each other. It slipped our mind that he woke up at 1 p.m. and then left with us not eating anything. Mike, I'm gonna pay these things, you guys go ahead and choose a restaurant of your liking. Sure, just send me the name of it later and I will find you, okay? Me, sure. Come on, Aizu. Let's go and find a place where we could eat something good. Izuku came to my side and took my hand in his. He then looked up at me and smiled. "To bright, kid. The sun would hide in shame if it could see your smile." I smiled back at him and began walking with the kid still holding his hand. We were on the second floor of the mall, and we needed to go to the opposite end ground floor, where all the restaurants were. As soon as we got to the ground floor, we were met with quite the sight. It was a hostage situation, and we just walked straight into it. I was ready to take my scarf and fight, but before I could even reach it, a bullet hit my shoulder. A pro hero and a vigilante walking side by side holding hands. That's something you don't see every day. A vigilante? Izuku is a vigilante? No way. This sweet little cinnamon roll can't harm even a fly. He can't be one. I looked at him, and he was giving the man death glares. Not only did he do that, but he at some point let go of my hand and walked some steps in front of me as if to protect me. What? His aura changed immediately, and I could tell that this in front of me wasn't the Izuku we knew. 2. Fancy seeing you here. Thanks to you, some of our guys are in a mental asylum. 3. That's him? My brother was one of the guard that were supposed to ensure that the deal was made without any complications. Now he is insane and can't even speak. Then I saw the tattoo. These people were dangerous. Members of the Grim Cartel. The one that Siren took down. It was the first time I heard about him and the first time Sakachi contacted me because of said Vigilante. Later, he gave us solid information in order to take them down, but some escaped and from the looks of it regrouped and planned their revenge. Izuku. It was my territory, and I took the deal personally as a declaration of war. Now, drop the guns. That voice. Siren. Izuku is Siren. My eyes went wide open. I couldn't believe it. Said Vigilante that I was chasing and even threatening in order to find Izuku was my son. They are one and the same person. Grim Cartel Member 1. You think we are stupid? Izuku, yes. In the next moment, he charged at him, jumped, kicking the gun out of his hand, then getting behind the man and hitting his pressure point. His movements were flawless, and I found myself being jealous at his skills. Izuku didn't make any unnecessary movements at all. It was perfection itself. Then I snapped out of the daze. He made an opening for me to use my quirk and fight too without harming any of the people around us, and I would be stupid to ignore his efforts. Grim Cartel Member 2. Sleep. In response to his actions, I activated my quirk and erased it from the one person that obviously had some mental quirk since he commanded Izuku to sleep just a moment ago. This made me wonder why it didn't affect my child at all. Izuku, why don't you go and sleep? Now sleep and meet your worst nightmare. The person I was targeting with my quirk then just fell down to the ground and was fast asleep. I took the next person out of the group of 4 and began to engage him in a one-on-one fight. Me and Izuku had one of the 3 remaining people engaged in a fight. Both of us didn't see the third one activating some kind of gas bomb. Izuku, don't breathe this in, but it was too late since I was closer to it when the bomb went off. I breathed it in. The time I heard what he screamed at me, I could already feel the effect of it. Sleeping gas. Izuku POV. I was fighting the brother of one of the cartel members I sent to the mental asylum. He was angry at me, and it was understandable. However, his rage was clouding his mind, and his attacks were sloppy. I had no problems taking him down. The real danger was the third one. I had him in my sight all the time until he just vanished. No, he didn't vanish. He ran fast past him. His quirk is a speed quirk. The moment he stopped running, and I found him again, I saw the small bomb in his hand and immediately warned Dadzawa, but it was too late. I need to finish him quickly. I was angry with him too. How dare they even attack my family? Then I saw Aizawa fall to the ground. Me no Zawa. I then quickly backed up from my opponent, taking some steps back and then speed running at him. The moment he was in front of me, he tried to grab me, but I simply sidestepped him, went behind him, and I jumped, kicked him at the side of his head. The guy fell down to the ground. I was still in the air from my jump and about to land when the speed guy tackled me to the wall. The fuck? Me? Deactivate. His eyes widened, and he loosened his grip around my throat. Speed guy. So you can erase quirks too? Me? Drop do dash. However, before I could even finish what I was saying, the guy that was Dadzawa's opponent just appeared beside me and injected something in my neck. The moment I felt it, I somehow managed to get away from them. What the fuck? Translucent. This is his quirk. He could make himself invisible. Then all of a sudden, it was hard to stay awake. No, I have to stay awake. I try to back up as much as I can and use my quirk, but the moment I opened my mouth, nothing came out. Shit, what was in that? Black dots began showing in my field of vision, and I knew that I couldn't win this fight. I can't let them get us. I can't. Dadzawa. Need to. Save him. Next thing I know, I blacked out and fell to the ground. Torture. I woke in a room. No, I was more like in basement chained to the wall. My feet were not touching the ground, and I was hanging by the chains on my hand. I had something around my neck. My guess it was some kind of illegal quirk suppression collar. It was dark in the room, but by concentrating on my hearing, I could tell that I was alone. Where is Dadzawa? My mind instantly remembered what happened before I blacked out. I began trashing and trying to get free, but there was no chance that I could get out of these cuffs only by my raw strength. Me. UNLO. The moment I tried to use my quirk, I was electrocuted and it hurt so much. It was also something I did not expect. Normally, quirk suppression cuffs or a collar don't shock their user. Okay, so this really is shock collar too. Just great. Where am I anyways? I tried to focus on my hearing again, but I couldn't hear anything, and This was even without my headphones since I didn't have them on. Clever putting me in a soundproof room. How do you know about my hearing though? I never told anyone about it. And I also never acted in any kind of way for you to manage to gather such details. Unless, could it be, there is no other way? That time I was in the hospital and learned about Mike being my father, they must have put that information down in my file. If these guys knew how I looked like then, they surely know my name. As I was analyzing my situation and speculating how much these guys knew about me, the door to my room opened, and someone came in. What a pleasure to finally meet you, Siren, or should I call you Izuka. So they really know my name. Me. I see you have the advantage here. You know my name, but I don't yours. Maybe he is so dumb and will give it to me. My name, you don't need to know that. But seeing as I will be the last one you will ever see, I will grant you my name. I go by the name of Clamor. If I get out of here and you escape me by then I at least know who I need to hunt down. Me, where is the hero? Clamor. Somewhere. So you won't tell me, huh? Me. Tell me. I knew I would be shocked because of it, but I needed to know it, and to be honest, how dumb can he be coming in the room without backup? Calmore. In the room left next to you. My neck hurt, and I could smell some burned skin. How did they put that thing on? However, I didn't care if I hurt my throat or not. I needed to gather information while I can and use the situation I was in the best I can and turn it to my advantage. Me. Get the collar of me. The collar went off again, and I felt it. This time it felt like a lot more voltage was used. However, I didn't scream. I couldn't let any more people come in this room, or even get more attention. Calmore, don't have the key. Damn it, fine, I will endure the pain. Me. Then get me down from this wall and release me. The villain then began to move slowly and put me down first. He then uncuffed me, and I immediately punched him into the face. Thanks to that, he snapped out of my control. Calmore, how? Before he could say anything else, I punched him in the gut and kicked him on the side of his head. Clamor fell down. Not wanting to give him the opportunity to stand up again, I began kicking him in the stomach. A loud cracking sound could be heard. I was sure one or two of his ribs just broke and pierced through his lung because he was now in a coughing fit and he coughed up blood. I grabbed him by the hair and pulled him up in a kneeling position and then kicked his head as if it was some kind of sandbag. Using all the force I could muster, I kicked him hard. My foot connected with his head and he was immediately down on the ground unconscious. The moment his skull hit the ground, a loud cracking sound could be heard. Serves you right. I then took the cuffs that were laying on the ground after he uncuffed me and cuffed him. Next, I put him on the wall where I was hanging only a moment ago. I need to get Dadzawa out of here. Walk into the next room. I could hear someone being inside of it and Dadzawa scream. Oh, hell no. I kicked the door open and ran to the man holding a whip in his hand. How? Before he could say any more nonsense or scream for help, I sidestepped him and kicked him too. Goddamn, why are all the grim cartel members so tall? He was swaying to the side before hitting his face against the wall. Before he could, however, regain his full balance, I was already on my next move. I swept him up from his feet and then kicked the air out of his lungs. Me? Where are the keys? D-bits. Me? Where are the keys? Around my neck. Say what? Are keys some kind of accessory? Me? Thank you very much. Me? Now hold your breath. I was sure he had a concussion because of me, and now, because I was using my quirk on him, he was not allowed to breath, or should I say his body won't do it no matter how desperate it was. The shock that I felt this time was a lot higher than the last couple ones. Shit, did they make it so that I won't be able to gain any kind of pain tolerance over it? How long did they plan this? I took the key from around his neck, and it sure was attached to a golden necklace. This man is crazy. Why would you wear this around your neck? I then took a look the first time I entered the room at Dadzawa. He looked beaten up, even barely conscious. He had visible bruises and cuts all over his body. The cuts around his torso looked deep, and I wished I could use my quirk to its fullest and heal him, but I would risk losing my voice if I was lucky, and the worst case scenario was me being electrocuted by it to death, which was more likely to happen. It was a risk I didn't want to take. I can't get us out if I am dead. I went to his side and began lightly tapping his shoulder. Me? Dadzawa? No respond. Me? Dadzawa? I saw how his eyes began to move my way. Me? I will uncuff you, but you have to stay in the room unless I get you. Can you do that? I was tearing up seeing one of my fathers look like this. To me, he looked like a scared black kitten than the proud panther he was. Aizawa nodded at me, and I released him from all the cuffs except the quirk suppression collar he had too. From the look around his neck, he also tried to use his quirk multiple times, and I found myself wondering again How long was I out? I then left Dadzawa on the ground, and behind the door, I kicked open so that he wouldn't be seen immediately and went out of the room. Stay strong, Dadzawa. I was standing in front of the room and focused on my hearing once again. I could hear 14 more people above us in the house. Whatever was in the injection they gave me was still messing with my senses because I couldn't make out what they were saying and only hear some whispers where I should definitely be able to hear every word loud and clear. I searched for a way up and I soon found one. As soon as I was up, I had a brilliant idea. It would hurt as hell, but it needed to be done as fast as possible. Dadzawa was awake for now, but I didn't know for how much longer. He looked like crap, and I sure was not letting him die in this hellhole, and on top of it on my watch. Let's find out who had the higher pain tolerance, shall we? Once I got to the room where everyone was, I used one of my ability that I knew that I had for sure. I slammed the door open and began screaming, "Me. Hey." I focused all the pain I got from the collar and let them experience the same pain I did, just phantom pain. The louder I screamed, the harder it shocked me, and the more pain I and the rest of the people in the room felt. After some time, I could feel my voice fading. My throat hurt, and I could smell my burned flesh. The voltage I got from the shock left me on the ground shaking in pain. However, the pain was worth it as everyone in the room was laying unconscious. Guess my pain tolerance is a lot higher. Knowing that my father wouldn't be able to stand up and walk, I began to search every one of the villains in the room for a phone, but to my luck, I found one. However, it was out of battery. Fuck. Just my luck. I then went back down and helped Aizawa on his feet. We need to get out of here. I put one of his arm around my neck so that he could lean against me for support. This was the only way we could get out of here, and I would rather we make it out than stay here any minute longer. I was sure that these guys in the room were not the mastermind behind this all. With my help, Aizawa and I got to the front door. Of fucking course, it is locked. Me? Unlock. My voice came out no mere as a whisper. I knew I couldn't use my quirk for long. It was not one of the drawbacks this time, but the injury I got from that shock collar. The door unlocked itself, and we got out. The problem now was I didn't know where exactly we were. It looked like we were in the abandoned part of the town, but not the side where I usually patrol. I was sure that we actually were on the opposite side of the city, and so I began following the sound I could hear. It was broad daylight, and someone was sure to notice a bloody man and a kid with a collar walking barefoot and blood on its cloths around the town. After a long time walking, I could feel Aizawa getting heavier. No, me Dadzawa, Norispan, me. Aizawa, again nothing, me. Eraserhead, he began feeling heavier. Caterpillar, wake up please. 2 hours after we escaped, Aizawa collapsed on me, and I was pulling him beside me, always making sure I wouldn't injure him while I was dragging him beside me. I began crying, but still refusing to let go of hope. Hope that someone would find us or me reaching and finding a hospital. For hours later, and I was in the center of the city. I was out of breath and completely exhausted. Every step I made was becoming harder. Now I could definitely feel all the damage I received from the shock collar, and I was sure that while I was out that they did something to me as my side was burning, and I felt lightheaded. Breathing became harder, and I could see some black dots. However, I ignored them and was just walking straight. I could feel the blood dripping from my ears and the migraine I had because of all the loud noises. 30 minutes later, and I was about to collapse when something caught me in the nick of time. Took you long enough, chicken nugget. Something red and fluffy caught me, and before I knew it, I was out cold. Feathers, Hawk's POV. Where are you, Feathers? Don't leave me like that. Please, give me a sign. I need you. You are the first person thinking of me like a normal person and not a tool. Please be okay, Feathers. I don't know what I would do if I lost you. It was 3 days since I was informed about the incident in the mall. I couldn't stand the thought of my Aizu being kidnapped by those cartel members. Mike immediately called Sakachi, who called Nezu, and he called me, Endeavor, and All Might plus all his stuff members to search for him. If I get my hands on them, then they are done for good. I can't believe Mike didn't do anything. If he didn't let my feathers go with that hero alone, then maybe the whole fight would have gone different. I barely slept for 3 days. There was not even one moment where I stopped searching for him. It was around 4 p.m., and I was circling the whole city again and again and again. There was no street and no alley that I didn't search through. I even checked every abandoned building, but there was no sign of my dear green bean or eraser. Not a single information about them. Damn it, how can they be so thoroughly? Why were they there? They didn't took anything or steal anything nor rob any store. It was as if they were waiting for someone. Was this a coincidence? Were they waiting for someone else? Or were they after him all along? But why? This doesn't make any sense unless… No, that can't be. How did they know that he was Siren? Were they after him because of revenge? If my suspicions are correct, then I need to find him fast. I was exhausted from flying 3 days straight without getting any sleep. Anxiousness and worries were holding me awake. Even if I wanted to sleep, I was sure I would have only had nightmares about him being tortured or him even dying. The sleep was slowly but surely getting to me, and I was feeling hungry. I knew I needed energy to keep going even if I hated the thought of wasting precious time for it. In order not waste any time, I landed in front of a KFC and then dispatched every single feather I had around the city. They would inform me the moment they found Izuku while I was eating some chicken nuggets. It was also the first time I didn't like to eat any chicken nugget. They remembered me about him and how he was calling me. It pained me, and some tears would slip and roll down my cheeks. I miss you. Please be okay. Stay strong. I will find you. I swear to God, if I find who is responsible for this, then there will be no tomorrow for them, and I will see to it that they will be 6 feet under. As I was entering the store, and I was immediately surrounded by fans. In these situations, I hated them. I didn't want to look at them, nor did I want to respond to them. There was nothing that could bring me to even fake my smile. Where are you, Izuku? As if he wanted to respond to the question I just asked in my head, one of my feathers reacted, and I felt them catch something. It was my largest feather. Izuku. Not wanting to even waste any second, I quickly retracted every single feather beside the long one that was holding Izuku once I dashed outside and flew to the location of it. There he was. The moment I saw him, my eyes widened from terror. What did they do to you, my dear feathers? I was crying from the sight in front of me. He looked bad, and the most surprising thing was that he was carrying Eraserhead. I quickly used my second largest feather and wrapped it around the hero. Next, I went to Izuku and carefully picked him up. I am so glad I can hold you in my hands again, Izuku. Don't you dare die on me when I just found you. Stay strong. Me. I am here. I won't let anyone harm you anymore. Izuku was slightly shaking by my touch, and I was wondering once again what he must have been through. The poor thing had blood all over him. He had some cut wounds that looked pretty deep. Then the collar around his neck was thick, and I knew that it was a Quirk suppression shock collar from the black market. I could smell the burned skin and saw the blood all around it. He looked so much in pain, even in his unconscious state. Then I saw the blood dripping down from his head. His sensitive hearing was getting the best of him, and I used one of my feathers to act like headphones. I was hoping it would make things a little better. Me. It will get better, feathers. As I gently picked him up bridal style and retreating the large feather that was holding him, I could feel how hot he was. Izuku was literally burning from the inside out. I knew I needed to get him to a healer and fast. Please stay strong. Don't give up. With that in mind, I immediately flew to UA. I luckily had my earbud on me that was connected to my phone. All I had to do if I wanted to call someone was giving the command for it. Me, call Nezu. I could immediately hear the ringing sound, and it didn't take long for the creature to pick up. Me. I found them, and I'm on my way to UA. Then the phone call ended. There was nothing more that needed to be said. Not even 5 minutes later, I arrived and landed in front of the main building. The moment my feet touched the ground, I was immediately running to the infirmary. We are here, Feathers. You will get the treatment you deserve. Not so long ago, I went to Mick's house. He barged into my house, and in return I did too. That day I wanted to spend some time with my feathers, but I was met with a crying Mike and a sad Eraserhead, and Midnight telling me that he lost all rights for Izuku. Then they told me that Nezu was now his new guardian, and since then I tried my best to get all the information I could get on the school's layout and their security system. I was happy I did that, fully aware that the only person that could help them right away, and the best one, was at UA. I decided I would not even try my best at a hospital. Once I entered the infirmary, I put Izuku and the hero down. Next thing I know, I was thrown out of the room by the healer. Nezu was too. Me, the fuck? What's her problem? Nezu. I can understand her throwing you out because you would be in the way, but I can't believe she threw me out too. Me what? Nezu. You clearly are attached to him. Me. Oh. And you, Mr. Guardian, or not? Nezu. I am a rational being. Me, oh, really? Nezu. Yes, of course. Me. So you don't feel like you need to protect him at all? Nezu. Why, of course I felt like I need to protect him. He is my son. Me. Well, then you are not rational anymore. Nezu. I will not act on pure instincts if that is what you were trying to say. Me, my God, did you see him? Nezu. Only a quick glance. Me. Then you don't know how bad the cinnamon roll looked like. I guarantee you no one that sees him right now can stay rational. After a little dispute, we both went silent for 15 minutes. Nezu. Where did you find him? Me. On the streets. It looked like he was heading this way. He was carrying Eraserhead. My guess they escaped somehow. Luck was sure on their side. Nezu. Luck had nothing to do with it. Me. You saw the collar? Nezu. A Quirk suppression shot collar. Me. Yes, the newest and strongest one on the black market. Nezu. I hope he won't sustain any injuries from it that can't be healed. Me too. We waited a full hour for the healer to come out and brief us about their conditions. Precious Green Bean. Recovery Girl POV. A/in. You didn't see that coming, did you? After Nezu told me that they found his precious green bean and Eraserhead, I immediately prepared myself for the worst thing. I did expect him and Aizawa to be in a rather bad situation, but after Hawks brought Izuku in, I was completely in shock and close to tearing up. He looked terrible, and the moment Hawks walked in, I could tell that he was crying and in a murderous mood. Not only did Hawks come in, but Nezu was there too. I heard our dear principal make a low growl. It was not loud, but loud enough for me to hear him while he was beside me. This was enough for me to throw him out of the room with Hawks. First, they would only get in the way, and second, both of them looked ready to kill anyone that would hurt this cinnamon roll. To be completely honest, I was mad too, and I would have made the people responsible for their wounds suffer. After both heroes were out, I immediately treated their wounds. Izuku was first. His injuries were a lot worse than Eraserhead's. The poor thing had blood all over him. He had some cut wounds that looked pretty deep. I could smell the burned skin and saw the blood all around his neck. He must have used his quirk a lot. He looked so much in pain, even in his unconscious state. I removed the feathers around his head and carefully cleaned his ears and put his headphones on. Since I knew that he had sensitive hearing, and seeing as he lives at UA, I prepared a pair of second headphones for him, and I never imagined that I would need them so soon. Removing the clothing that I would more describe as bloody rags, I saw that he had deep stab wounds, burns, whip marks, and also one of his ribs was clearly visible. Before I used my quirk, I needed to put the clearly broken bone back to its place. What did they not do to you? I knew that some of the wounds were from a fire quirk, others were from a hot metal, and other ones were from electricity. How are you still alive, child? It pained me to see someone so young as him have such wound, and what impressed me more was that he was still alive and that he was the one that saved them both. I could tell that Aizawa was out cold for a while, and there was blood in his remaining clothing that were on places where he doesn't have any injuries, which lead me to the conclusion that he must have let Aizawa lean over him and was helping him walking. How did you escape? First, I tried to use my quirk on Izuku, but his reaction was bizarre and frightening too, as he went into a condition of shock and also shacking violently. Does your quirk not let anyone heal you, or did they give you something? Seeing as my quirk was useless and couldn't treat him, I decided to treat his wound the old-fashioned way. Then I collected a blood sample in order to see if they gave him something since I found some injection wounds. The results came rather quick, which surprised me. They indeed gave him some kind of mixture of a drug and poison. I never saw something like that. Is that a new drug from the underground market, or did they mix it? Perhaps there is someone with a poisonous quirk that could make this. I need to find an antidote, and that ASAP. Next, I needed to get the shock collar off of them. Why do people buy these illegal? There is a good reason for them to be illegal. After my first attempt, removing the shock collar from Izuku failed, and I caused it to go off full force. I was scared shitless. Izuku didn't scream at all, where this much pain should have made him wake him up. His pulse spiked and began speeding up to a point where it was life-threatening. I needed to give him something to calm down, and his breathing hitched. Not able to breathe anymore properly, I also needed to connect him to a breathing machine so that he would get enough oxygen. Aizawa, on the other hand, was easier to treat. He had some serious flesh wounds that were deep, but no broken bones, luckily. His shock collar also went off rather easy compared to Izuku's. They were also a different design and model, that much I could tell. I gave him a kiss and used my quirk on him at least a little bit so that the man wouldn't bleed out and recover faster. After I was done with my treatment, I went out of the room and found both hero waiting there. Nezu, how is my green bean? Me. He is in a rather critical condition, and I need power loader's help to remove the collar from him. Hawks, so you could get eraser heads off? Me. Yes, I could, and both Quirk suppression collars are not the same model. I got Aizawa's collar off rather easily, while when I tried to get Izuku's of it immediately went off on the highest voltage, and thanks to that I needed to give him an oxygen mask. I can't treat his injured neck while he has that thing on, and by the looks off it they also may have drugged him. I am also unable to use my Quirk on him, which makes recovery harder than it should be. Furthermore, I decided to put him in an artificial coma because he wasn't reacting to the pain as the collar went off. I don't want to make the child suffer any more than he already did. Nezu, I'm going to get power loader immediately. Me, did you inform Mike already? Hawks, I didn't. Nezu, neither did I. Me, Hawks, can you please give him the message that you found them and that both are being treated? Nezu, you informed Detective Sakachi about this and all the other pro heroes after sending power loader to me. Nezu, yes. Hawks, yes. Me, I'm going to stay here and see what I can for both of them. I saw how both of them went there was, and 15 minutes later power loader came in. Power loader, where is the green bean? Me, he is laying right here. Be careful, I try to get it off, but it went off immediately. Another shock from that shock collar at maximum might kill him. Power loader, I understand. With that, I left power loader do his magic while I went on and developed an antidote for the drug/poison mix he had in his body. For hours later, and power loader got the collar of Izuku, but after seeing what type of collar, it was his blood and my froze. Power loader, oh my gosh, who does that? Me. I don't know. The collar had some needles on the inside that would directly conduct the voltage into his body. Furthermore, they were attached on the back of his neck, directly connected to his spine, and on the side of his throat, piercing his carotid artery. Then there were spikes that were not sharp, but were intended to choke him while he gets electrocuted by it. After we carefully removed the collar and its 4x 5 centimeters needles from his spine, and the 2x 3 centimeter side needles that were about 5 millimeters thick after the needle point. It was a gruesome sight. I carefully applied some ointment, gave him also the antidote, and then wrapped up his neck. Power loader was watching his body. Izuku looked like a porcelain doll. His skin was unnaturally white from all the pain, blood loose, and the drug/poison. Power loader, will he be okay? Me, I don't know yet. I hated it. I was so powerless. My Quirk didn't work on him at the moment, and I was still not sure if it was the drug or his Quirk prohibiting it. I hated watching how this kid was suffering in front of my eyes, and I couldn't do anything. Me, you should get the collar to Nezu. He should be able to find out who bought it. I'm sure he will find the people responsible for this. Power loader, on my way. If there is anything I can do for them, don't hesitate and tell me. I will drop everything and do it. Me, I will. Now go. Now I was left with him alone, and some tears finally began falling down. It was just too much for me. This child has endured so much pain and was still holding on to life. I would do anything to help him. Since Nezu adopted him, I felt like he is my grandson. This was something I took way too personal. If I get my hands on the people responsible, I swear I'm going to whack them with my cane to death and even inject them the same poison. No, and even better, want a modified version of what they gave him. From my analyses, I learned that this drug/poison was disabling his Quirk or trying to block it beside the Quirk suppression collar. Its main purpose is to intensify all kind of pain and memory loss. So I was sure that he at least didn't know what happened to him. Another effect was to make him easier obey to anything, making him basically lifeless. The cat is out of the bag. I woke up in an extremely white room. Where am I? What happened? My mind was a little bit foggy at the moment. I tried the best I could to remember what happened before I blacked out, and especially where the heck I am. It looked like an infirmary. I could hear some beeping. Looking at the source of it, I found myself attached to two machines. One for checking out my heart rate, and another one that was attached to the oxygen mask. Why do I have a mask on? I pulled the mask off my face and detached all the machines from me. Next, I sat him on the bed wondering why I couldn't remember anything. As I was looking around the room, the curtains close to my bed suddenly were opened and Recovery Girl came to me. Wait, am I in UA? Why am I here? I was wearing some gym uniform. Then the fog lifted from my memories and I could recall the last incident. The mall, the Grim Cartel, me, Dadzawa. Is he okay? Recovery Girl, calm down, sweetheart. Is he quite all right and already back on his feet? Me, that's good to hear. Recovery Girl, you should get back down on the bed and rest some more. Me, Were the guys found that were responsible for this? Recovery girl? Unfortunately not. Nezu did his best, but they simply vanished without leaving any traces. He might not find them, but Siren will, and if I get them, then God help them. Me? Too bad. Recovery girl. So I take it that you won't lay down anymore? Am I right? I felt bed sore, as if I were laying on this bed for more than a week. Naturally, I wanted to get up. More importantly, I wanted to Dadzawa. I needed to make sure that he was really all right. It was not a matter of believing her word or not. I simply had to see it myself since the last time I saw him, he was literally knocking on death's door. Me? Exactly, recovery girl. Okay, then how about I check you up real quick and you can then slowly get up on your feet. Me, okay. I'll let her have a look on me. Recovery girl. How are you feeling? Me good? Me? Shit, I was supposed to play mute. Recovery girl. Oh, honey, I already know from Nezu. And even if you didn't tell me, one look at your throat would have told me that you are not. Speaking of which, can you try using your quirk? I need to see if you had sustained any injuries for life. Me, okay. I can't control her. I will feel bad about it. I then looked around the room for something I could let float until I saw a trash can. Me burn. The trash can lit up on fire. With it, she had proved that I was completely fine. Me freeze. Not wanting the fire to get any bigger, I quickly extinguished it with extreme coldness. Me. So you know, recovery girl. Yes, and I don't plan on telling another single soul. Me good? Thank you, recovery girl. No problem. Now let's get up from the bed slowly. I did as she told me, and in that moment I knew why she told me to do it slowly. The moment I stood up, I felt like I was spinning and my legs were a little bit shaky. The fuck did they give me? Recovery girl. This is only a side effect from the antidote for the poison you had in your system. It won't last for long. Antidote? Poison? What did I miss? Me? AHM recovery girl. How long was I out? Recovery girl for 2 months. You had us all worried. 2 months? How injured was I? They are so gonna pay for it. Me? I am sorry. This will make it harder to track these bastards down. Recovery girl. Shall I call Aizawa in? I swear to God, she can read my mind. Me no, I want to surprise him and walk into his class and wake him up. Recovery girl. Okay. I began walking and recovery girl was following me. We both went to the hero's classroom where I knew that Aizawa was in. Then I opened the door and went in. He was laying on the ground in his sleeping bag like usual. I went to the teacher's desk and sat down on it. Recovery girl closed the door behind us and waited there. I remember speaking to him while we were captured. So the cat is finally out of the bag and he knows that I am Siren. Me, rise and shine caterpillar. Aizawa. Who wants to die? What a nice greeting. He quickly got out of his sleeping bag and then finally looked at the person responsible for waking him up. The moment our eyes meet, he froze up. I saw a tear welling up in his eyes. He then came to me and hugged me. This feels nice. At first, he hugged me like a normal person, but then I could feel his grip tighten and it was getting harder to breathe. Not so nice anymore. The high and mighty Eraserhead can get emotional. That sure is one hell of a sight. Me? Can't breath. Aizawa? Sorry, kid. He then let me go and backed up 1 step. Aizawa? Why didn't you tell us that you were Siren? Me? Because it was fun messing around with you guys, and I did left enough clues. You were just all too stupid to see them. Aizawa. Sai, you are a real problem child. Me? While I try to do my best living up to that expectation, I could hear recovery girl snickering at my respond. Me? How many know that I am Siren? Recovery girl. Me? That sleepy cat over there. The loud cockatoo, and their son, and Nezu. Me? Throwing in Hawks, and I got 6 people. I can live with that. Aizawa. Hawks knew? Me, yes. Aizawa. Since when? Me. The day you broke into his penthouse. Aizawa. You are kidding, right? Me. Do I look like I am? Aizawa, no. Me. Well, there's your answer. Recovery girl. I hate to break your reunion, but I think you want to go and see Nezu. Nice save. Thank you, recovery girl. Me. Well, I have a chimera to visit, so go back into your cocoon and sleep, you caterpillar. Aizawa. Don't call me that. Me. Sure what you say, caterpillar. With that, I jumped from the desk down, and me and recovery girl went to Nezu's office. I didn't even knock. It just felt wrong seeing, as he is my dad and everything. Me dad. With that, I scared the living shit out of my father since he didn't expect me to throw the door open and jump into the room screaming. The best part was that he was just sipping on his tea, and thanks to the scare, he spit it out and let his cup fall to the ground, shattering. After I went in, I immediately went to couch and let myself fall into them. Recovery girl saw the whole thing and was laughing. I guess she never saw him do that. Me? Yes, Dad? How's it going? Nezu, you? Me, yes, me. Oh no. Did I broke my dad already? Hello, Earth to Nezu. Well, Nezu.exe just stopped working. Me, you good? Nezu. I him. Well, yeah. You are up. Thanks for stating the obvious, Sherlock. Recovery Girl was laughing harder now. Mia? Then it visibly clicked and the mouse jumped off his seat and came to me, jumping on the couch and then hugging me. Well, I guess today I get a lot off hugs. I like it. After he let go of me, he looked down as he was ashamed about what he was about to say next. Nezu, I am sorry, Izu. I couldn't find them. Me, it's okay. I will. And if I need to hunt them down, I certainly will, and I will succeed. Nezu, how are you feeling? Me? Quite good, thank to Recovery Girl. We then began to make some small talks and even played a round of chess. I beat him again. It was already late since the game took us 3 hours, and we were talking for another 3 hours about anything and everything. Recovery Girl, it's getting late. I will escort you to your room, Izu. No talking back. Me, yes, ma'am. Hi. Recovery Girl, please don't call me that. I don't need someone remembering me how old I am. Just call me Granny. Oh, so now I have a granny. This day can't get any better. I sure hope that I didn't jinx it now. Me. So, who found me? Recovery Girl. Hawks. Me. Dad, can you call him to come to our house? I want to thank him personally. Nezu, sure. Then I was escorted back to my room in our house from both Nezu and my new granny. The night I won't forget. Hawks POV. It was already late, and I just finished my patrol when my phone went off. I landed on the next roof and looked at the caller ID. It said unknown. Wondering who it might be, I picked the call up. Me, hello, Hawks on the phone. Correction. You mean Chicken Nugget on the phone? As soon as I heard his voice, tears started to wheel up in my eyes. It was really him. My precious little feather has woken up. Me? Feathers. Izuku. I was wondering if you want to come over and spend the night here? Me, of course I will. Izuku. Just so you know, you are not the only one staying over. Me. I don't care as long as I can see you and hug you, my precious little feather. Izuku. Did you just call me little? Me, no, you must have misheard me. I knew he hated it when Mike called him Little Green Bean. He could get mad very easy hearing someone say little to him. Izuku. Good chicken nugget. Well then, see you soon. Me. See ya. With that, our call ended and I immediately jumped off the roof and fly up into the air. I didn't want to waste any time and flew straight to Nezu's house on UA property. I was so fast that I swear I broke my record. Never was I this fast in my life before. Once I landed in front of the house, I knocked and waited. The same Lila boy that I once met in the hospital opened it for me. Sorry, we don't buy things from strangers. He then slammed the door shut in front of me. The heck? Who do you think you are? I knocked again, and this time Mike opened the door. Mike, I think you got the wrong house. He then slammed the door in front of me. What just happened? I was standing dumbfounded in front of the door that was slammed 2 times in a row at my face. Not wanting to give up, I knocked again, and this time Eraserhead opened the door. Eraserhead. Izuku called you, right? Me, yes. Dad? Eraserhead, yes? Slam the door shut, and don't let him in. Me, what? I watched Eraserhead do the exact same thing that the lilac boy told him to do. I can't believe this. Is this some kind of sick joke? How can they do this to me? Seeing as I will always get the same result, I dispatched my smallest feather to see if there was an opening where it could get in the house, and there was one. One window was tilted, and so I focused on my feather and let it find Izuku. It didn't take long, and I could feel someone gently stoking my feather. Izuku, it felt nice. Feeling his every gentle touch, I was distracted and didn't see the door opening in front of me until he called out. Izuku, Hawks, me, Izu. I immediately hugged him and swooped him to the ground. Izuku, AHM Hawks, you can put me down. Me, no. Izuku, I won't run away. I promise. Well, not now anyway. The last part he whispered, but I could still catch it. Me. What do you mean not know? Izuku, nothing. Forget it. Not knowing what we were talking a minute ago, he began hugging me once again before letting me in. He already told me that I wouldn't be the only one, but I didn't expect so many people. In the room were Nezu, Recovery Girl, Eraserhead, Mike, and the Violet Devil. Izuku, Hawks, this is Shinso Hitoshi. Me. Nice to meet you not. Izuku, Hawks. Be a nice birdie. Me. Okay, I'm not sorry. Izuku, Hawks. Me. He freaking slammed the door right in front of my face. What do you expect me to say? Izuku? Toshi? Why? Toshi? I thought he was a stranger. Izuku, nice try. You do know that we are literally on UA's property. There is no way a stranger can get in not after all the improvements that were made. Toshi, me and the Violet Devil were standing close to Izuku. each one of us on one side. Me. It's nice to see you up and awake. How are you feeling? Izuku. Fine, thanks to recovery girl. Me. Wait a minute, you were talking. Totsi. Nosti tserlok. Me. Does that mean? Izuku. Yep. Everyone in this room knows that I am Siren. Although you were the first one learning my secret, I feel so honored to be the first one. Me. So the detective doesn't know? Izuku. Not that I know. Nezu. I would never snitch out my own son. Eraserhead. He saved my life and his mixed blood son. I would never do something that would put him behind bars. I'm not that stupid. Mike, he is my own flesh and blood. Why would I want to put him in jail or in some kind of system where he needs to do voluntary work? Me. Good point, and you, sleepy boy? Toshi, who me? You kidding? I wouldn't be even here if it were not for Siren. I would be long 6 feet under. Recovery girl, I'm glad he found you when he did. Izuku. Well anyways, Nezu, would it be all right if we went to my room? Nezu. Go ahead and take some of these with you. He gave Izuku a tray of sweets. Nezu. Lunch Rush made them especially for you. Izuku. Can you give him my thanks? Nezu, sure. Then us three, Sleepy Boy, Feathers, and me went to his room. It was huge. I was happy to see Nezu treating him like he was royalty. Me. So what are we doing? Izuku. Sorry, I just needed to get away from Mike. Me, why is that? Toshi. Paps was crying and clinging to Izuku right here the whole time till you came. Oh, that's why his eyes were that puffy. Izuku. I know he missed me, and I know I scared all of you, but his reaction is just too much for me at the moment. Toshi. Try dealing with it on a regular basis then. Me. Oh, please no. We then began laughing. Toshi. But you know he did made a valid question. What are we gonna do? Izuku. How about we play some games and enjoy our last night together? The last party whispered. I couldn't catch it and ignored it. I was not the only one hearing him say something, but not making out what. Me. Sounds good. Toshi. What did you say else? Izuku. Isuggestive. And so we three played games and chit-chatted until midnight and fell all asleep together on the bed. Izuku was in between us, and I had my wing wrapped around him. Little did I know that this was the last time I saw my sweet green bean for the next 3 years. On the hunt, that night, I used my voice to get out of the house unnoticed. It pained me to leave them, but it was necessary. The Grim Cartel was still out there, and they knew my identity. I couldn't let them get away with what they have done to me or my dadzawa. The pure thought of them getting their hands on Hawks or Toshi pained me. Every lead I could gather about them, I went and checked it. A lot of the information I got were false information, but I never gave up and hunted them down each and every one until I got everyone. Careful, huh? Hiding in the shadows. You got the wrong person as your enemy. This will teach you and anyone else to not mess with Siren. 1 year after I run away, I found a small group of the Grim Cartel, and I made sure that they would be stuck forever in a world of nightmares. This particular small group were the same people that were in that abandoned house, having their little fun with me and my dadzawa. Now it was my turn. I snuck in the house they used as hideout and used my voice. I screamed and focused on the pain I felt that day. I made them relive that exact pain. After they went unconscious, I didn't stop there. No, I was about to make sure that they never come back at me again. I sang them a lullaby that would forever keep them in a sleep-like state. They will never wake up again and see the sunlight. Instead, they will live a life in nightmares. After I was finished with them, I left them as I found them in that house. It was a declaration of war meant at the Grim Cartel. I was out there, ready and on the hunt. After 3 years of gathering every single information about the Grim Cartel, I finally found their headquarters. It was not easy, but I have done the impossible. I was standing outside the building ready to enter and spread fear among them. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=FMI_INYOURXY14. As a child, you would wait and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one that work while they all play. I went inside the building and made every member go insane that heard my voice. They were now attacking each other and not focusing on me. One man killed the other by firing a gun. The next one killed the first one with throwing knives, and so on and so on. In youth, you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change. But it was just a dream. Every floor, I made sure to leave only one person alive. This person then fell onto his knees and was facing his worst demons. They should have never attacked me in the first place. Here we are, don't turn away now. We are the warriors that built this town. Here we are, don't turn away now. We are the warriors that built this town. From dust, everyone listening to my song was on a killing spree. The best part was that no people around the building would react to the gunshots or the screams. The reason was very simple. My voice. I let the villains open all windows before killing each other. This allowed my voice to be heard also from outsiders. It was hard to concentrate and also changing my quirk's effect depending on the person, but I somehow managed to do it. The people outside that heard my voice had a command on ignoring the building and keep walking if they were related to the Grim Cartel. If they were, however, they would immediately fell to the ground in a state of pure terror. I would make them hallucinate their demons and let them fight in their minds only for the person to kill himself in the end. Will come when you'll have to rise above the best and prove yourself. Your spirit never dies. Once I reach the upper floor, I meet the boss of the cartel. Once he saw me, his eyes widened and he fell down to his knees. Blood began dripping from his ears. I used my quirk and let him experience the same pain I did in the basement. However, this time my quirk did not make any phantom pain. No, it evolved because of the range and pure hatred that I felt. It forced the mind to experience my sensitive hearing, and the skin began ripping itself where his minions stabbed me. He felt the same shock of the shock collar. Farewell. I've gone to take my throne above. But don't weep for me, because this will be the labor of my love. I watched him until he passed out. His body was still in my control, and so I commanded and forced every survivor out of the building. Here we are, don't turn away now. We are the warriors that built this town. Here we are, don't turn away now. We are the warriors that built this town. From dust. In front of the building, I changed the effect of my quirk once again and let the house, or should I say a very popular business that was only established 3 years ago, burn to ashes with all the killed members in it. The police found the remaining members, but they were too terrified to even answer them, or should I say they couldn't even hear what the police was asking them. No trail could lead them back to Siren. There was nothing that connected me or these people. Here we are, don't turn away now. We are the warriors that built this town. Here we are, don't turn away now. We are the warriors that built this town from dust. After that, I left. No one knew that this was the work of Siren. In total, it took me 3 goddamn years to bring every member down and get them to hell. In these 3 years, I was sure to make as little contact with Nezu, Hawks, Toshi, or anyone else. I knew that I was making them go insane out of worries, but I wanted to protect them. If the Grim Cartel was willingly to go that far as to attack me while I was with a hero, there was no telling on what they would do. In these 3 years, I was more than active as Siren. People all across the town were saying my names and even supporting me more than the #1 hero. Everyone heard about me, and my good deeds were something the Hero Commission couldn't ignore anymore. 1.5 years after I vanished from the radar, I heard rumors in the dark side of the cities. They say that the Hero Commission put a bounty on my head. They even went on and said for any valid information they would pay a fortune. Lucky for me, all the civilians were on my side, and the villains quickly learned to fear me, as could hear nearly everything. In these years, the crime rate sunk so low that a lot of heroes could just sit back and relax. However, this was about to change because I was now 14 years old and the UA exam was 10 months from now on. I planned to enter UA once again with another alias and surprise them all. Now that the terror that was haunting me was gone and all the threats were eliminated, I was ready to go back to my family and meet the 2 people that I missed the most, Hawks and Shinso. UA Entrance Exam Part 1. I hacked into UA's system, which was surprisingly easier than I thought it would be. I really need to talk with Nezu about that. Then I created an application with my personally information and immediately approved it for the exams. This way I knew he didn't know that I was coming back. The name I used was Kikoti Date, and my quirk was called Ocean's Voice, which I was basically referring to me as a siren being an ocean creature and all. I also got some hair paint and colored it blonde like my true father's hair. I used makeup to get rid of the freckles and contact lenses in a different color to hide my emerald green ones. I wonder how long it will take him to find out the meaning behind my name and my quirk's name. Today was the day of the entrance exam, and I was standing in front of the building, preparing myself to what will come next. I was the first one there, and what surprised me the most was that I still knew my way around here. Once I entered the room, I immediately was met with a yellow cocoon-looking thing. "Oh, my dear caterpillar that I call Dad, it's so nice to actually see you again. I so want to hug you right now." Dadzawa, not paying any more attention to him, I hid my presents and went to a seat. I didn't want to wake him up since I knew that he valued his sleep more than anything else. Then I laid my head down on the table and waited for everyone to arrive in the room. It took another half an hour until every candidate was in the room. The once empty room was now full. My head was still laying on the table, and I was listening to my surrounding when I heard someone explain the written exam to us. Looking up, I saw Mike, an eraserhead with Midnight in the room. "Oh, my other dad. I'm a little bit disappointed that you guys don't recognize me with my disguise on. Like, hello. I am your son." Once the test began, I began completely focusing on my paper. "What is this? Isn't this supposed to be some hard test that would make us sweat? I am disappointed, Dadzu. This is so easy." As soon as I got the test, I began filling it out until I got to the last portion of the written exam. "Make a quick analyzation of a hero of liking. Who should I choose? Oh, I know. The caterpillar. This will be hilarious. No one should have taken him. I so want to see his reactions when reading this." Hero name: Eraserhead, also known as the Erasure Hero. True name: Shota Aizawa. Husband is Yamada Hizashi, also known as Present Mike. They both adopted a son, Hitoshi Shinso, which has the ability called Brainwash. Quirk: Erasure. His quirk gives him the ability to nullify another person's quirk by looking at the user. The effects of this quirk can still last even if they are out of your sight. The quirk is very powerful, but has some drawbacks, such as by blinking, your quirk deactivates itself. User get bad dry eyes, which is forcing you to blink more often when he uses quirk continuously. Most mutant class quirks are immune to erasure. While activated, it makes his hair stand up, allowing the enemies to see when the quirk is active or not. It also has no offensive potential. He has keen observation and evaluation skills. Eraserhead can easily evaluate someone's personalities and their mental state. In battle, he used special goggles to prevent enemies from figuring out who he is currently looking at and keep them guessing. In addition to that, he also has an extreme pain tolerance. Now onto his scarf, or capture weapon. He developed a unique fighting style that involves the scarf like capture weapon. He is doing this by immobilizing his opponents, as well as using it for mobility, such as swinging objects around or even using to get from building to building. Even without the aid of his quirk, he has great hand-to-hand combat skills. P.S. Nicknamed Dadzawa, or Caterpillar. I began smiling like the Cheshire Cat from ear to ear. After I finished writing, all I wanted was to see the hero's face after reading this. How surprised will he be to see that someone could get their hand on such dangerous information about an underground hero? On top of that, the one that was writing, it was his husband's son that went missing 3 years ago. It was only 20 minutes after I got the test of 42 pages. Ha, funny 42. The answer to everything. I do wonder what would happen if I answered every question with 42. Better not risk it. Although I am sure Dadzu would get the reference. I took the paper, stood up, and went to the front, still hiding my presence. None of the teachers realized me walking to them or standing next to one until I decided, let my guard down and show my presence again. Me cough. I looked at the closest teacher and offered him the paper. Erasehead looked confused, and he looked at me and then to the seat where I was sitting moments ago. Present Mike was close to him and jumped after hearing my voice. Yeah, I was sitting there, I know. Can we go on now? Me, signing, finished it. Mike, you sure you don't want to look over it again, little listener? I mean, you have more than 2.5 hours left. How can you still be so dumb and not recognize me? Me, signing, already did that. I made my point clear, and Eraserhead took my paper. After that, I left the room and began looking around the school. I was wondering if something changed in the past years. In addition, I knew that there was a backyard with a pond, and I wanted to rest there. As I was walking around the corner, I ran into Nezu. Me, signing, I am sorry, Principal Nezu. I should have paid more attention to my surroundings. I bowed to him. Nezu, it's quite all right, it happens. Me, PFFFF, ha 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 ha. Nezu looked at me surprised. Nezu, if I may ask, what is so funny? Me, you, don't you recognize me? His expression then morphed into one of overjoyed one. He had tears welling up in his eyes and slowly falling down. He then hugged me. Nezu is Zuko. Me, yep, the one and only. Nezu, how, why, what are you? And I broke Nezu again. Me, I am back. I'm sorry I ran away. I just had some unfinished siren business. Nezu, you were behind the Grim Cartel. weren't you? Me, yes. Nezu, I won't tell anyone. Besides, they got what they deserve, and I am sure I would have done something worse to them if I got them in my paws. Me, they were threatening you and everyone I loved, so how can I not go after them? I'm sorry it took me so long. Nezu, it's okay. Say, I know what you're doing walking around here? Me, what do you mean? Today is the day of the UA entrance exam, and I am taking it. Nezu, why? You could have told me which class you wanted to be, and I would have gotten you there. There was absolutely no need for you to take the exam. Besides, hasn't the writing portion already began? Me, yes, but I finished it. To be honest, I thought it would be more challenging, and I am disappointed. 42 pages. You serious? Nezu, oh really? That's interesting. So you noticed the page numbers. Where were you heading? Me, of course, how couldn't I? I was also wondering what would happen if I answered everything with 42. What would you have done? Nezu, I would have probably called the student candidate in my office and let him do the test again. I would have found it quite amusing though. Now, where are you heading again? Me, I was looking for a place I could relax outside until the physical exam starts. Nezu, oh, how about you come with me instead, and we could have a talk and catch up or play a game of chess. Who am I to decline his offer of a game of chess? Prepare to be beaten. Me, you up for me beating you again like old times? Nezu, you wish. Game on? With that, we went to his office and played a game of chess. Who would have thought that? I beat him again. He also asked me if the others knew I was back, and I told him no. Then he asked me how I got into the system, and I told him I simply hacked into it and used a fake name. Upon hearing the name and my Quirk's name, he began laughing like a maniac. When the time came, we both left his office. He went to the observation room completely thrilled on what he will be witnessing, while I was going to the waiting room where the next part was about to be explained to us candidates. UA Entrance Exam Part 2. Aizawa POV. Who was that? No kid should be able to walk up to me without me noticing them. Scratch that, no one should be able to do that. I couldn't even sense a goddamn child. Am I getting old? No, I don't think so. Or at least I don't want to think that way. Something is wrong with that kid. I can feel it. Where does a kid even pick up such skills to begin with? This reminds me of Izuku and how he used to toy with us as Siren. It might be him. No, I don't think so. This kid had blonde hair like Zashi and the same color of eyes as him as well, but he had no freckles. He's also way too skinny for a kid his age. He also didn't have any headphones on. I was still lost in thoughts about how advanced the kid's skill were and how he reminded me of Izuku. After the written exam, I went to the observation room. I was sure to have an eye out for this blonde kid. He had caught my interest. All the teachers beside my dear loudmouth were in the observation room. However, there was someone missing. Vlad King. It's the first time he is late. Midnight. He might be planning a surprise task for the poor candidates, for all we know. Power loader. Sounds like him. Then the door to the observation room opened and Nezu walked in. He was smiling from ear to ear, which resembled the Cheshire Cat. This was never a good sign. Something has caught his interest, and he was creeping the whole room out. The hair on my neck was standing up too. Whatever he know, I don't want to know. Nezu. Aizawa, I met an interesting boy. I am sure you will like him. Midnight. Is it the blonde little fluffy head? Nezu. Oh my yes. Vlad King. Who? Midnight. He just scared Sho and Zashi 20 minutes after the written exam started. Power loader. That's possible? I watched Nezu's grin spread even further. Me. I can only describe this as followed. He hid his presence from us, even used advanced stealth techniques. He came to us after he finished the test and handed it to me. We simply didn't hear him coming or even see him walk to us. I would even say that he is using these techniques unconsciously. If he really manages to pass this part of the exam, I want him in my class. Nezu. The great #1 teacher that nearly expels all his students every year and never took interest in one, shows actually interest in this specific one. Me, yes. Nezu. Well, he will be one hell of a student, that's for sure. Say what now? Another problem child? Oh, please no. Hignal, can I expel him right away? Me what? Nezu. Well, good luck with him. Midnight. You just got yourself a brand new problem child, Sho. Me. If I had known that he would say something like that, I wouldn't have even said I wanted him in my class. Now I need to figure out what he meant. Midnight. That reminds me, Nezu, how do you know him? Me. Met him when he was walking through the hallway after finishing the test. He even told me that it was an easy one. We also played a game of chess afterwards. That's the reason I am late. Midnight. I feel bad for him. In fact, I feel bad for everyone you play with because of your sneaky little tricks that destroys them. Me. He beat me rather early in the game. Recovery girl. Did he perhaps lay a trap for you, and you fell for it? She began smiling too. Her smile was like Nezu's. I have never seen the healer do that, and I was sure I was not the only one since everyone was staring at these two. What is going on? What does she know? Do I even want to know it? I looked at Midnight, and she was also looking at me trying to figure out if I knew the answer to, but I had no fucking idea. Nezu. It was neatly put down and prepared especially for me. I didn't even see it until it was too late, and then there was nothing I could do anymore. At this point, I knew that there was only one person that was able to do this in this entire world, and he was the precious green bean that ran away. Knowing that there would be another person so inelegant as him was not something I was looking forward, and I didn't even think there would be one. I hope he won't be such a problem child like Izuku. All Might. Does he have some intelligence quirk like you? Nezu. No, I looked him up. His quirk is called Ocean's Voice. Wait a goddamn minute. It can't be him. There is no way. He doesn't look like him. I mean, what can it do? Nezu. I am sure you already know it and experience the effect too. So it is him. Holy shit, how blind can I be? He has the exact same hairstyle, the same body build, and the same high. Damn it, me, is he? Recovery grill, yes. Now I had the same shit-eating grin on my face like the other two. Nezu. I also believe he left a message or a clue in his paper for you. I had the papers of the written exam with me, and I began searching for his. As soon as I found it, I skipped to the last question, and there I wounded. He was once again playing a game with us. Me, damn it, that problem child. Midnight. What does it say? Me, PS. Nickname Dadzawa or Caterpillar. Nezu. PFF, aha. Recovery girl. This to sound like him. Midnight. Who? All Might. What is going on? Vlad King. They're all officially lost. Power Loader. I think the world is falling apart if they group up like this. Hound Dog. I am not dealing with this shit. Me. I can't wait to see Zashi's face when he realizes it too. Nezu. I am sure he has something in mind to let him know very soon. Recovery Girl. Well, your face was brilliant. Nezu. Indeed. I should have taken a picture. Me. So let's watch him destroy the whole exam. Midnight. SHO. All Might. You are not serious, Aizawa. Nezu. Yes, he is. Vlad King. I am officially scared of this boy. You can have him. I don't want to be near him if he can make you, Nezu, and Recovery Girl smile like that. Me. Bold of you to assume I would even let you have him. I was sure that Izuku would find a way to end this exam very soon and even involve my dear husband that was still clueless. UA Entrance Exam Part 3. I was in the waiting room with all the other candidates waiting for someone to come and explain the next part of the exam. To my surprise, my other dad, Mike, came in. Oh, this will be interesting. Mike, can I get a yeah? Should I? No, not now. Mike, tough audience, I see. He then began to explain how there are 3 types of robots and their sizes and the point and yada yada yada. I didn't really pay any attention to what he was saying since we had our own paper with information in front of us. Then all of a sudden someone interrupted him rather rudely. Sir, by all due respect, in this paper it says that there are 4 robots. You only described 3 of them. Is this some kind of error? And you with the blonde hair, put your earbuds down. It's rather rude to the one speaking. Such a behavior is not acceptable. Excuse me, I wouldn't have said anything about you, just rudely interrupting my father. But you didn't want it any different. Me. Signing I am sorry, but don't you think you were the rude one here? How come? Me. Signing you are obviously part of the Ida family, judging from the engines on your feet, and also the resemblance to your brother. You out of everyone here should know better than to just interrupt a hero while he is still explaining. I'm sure that Present Mike was about to talk about this part. And second, no one has anything against my earbuds beside you. I need them to be able to hear. I am sorry. I didn't know that. Me. Signing it's okay, you can't know everything, but jumping to a conclusion that fast is dangerous. Please keep that in mind. I will. Thank you, and I would like to apologize again. I made the young Ida visibly pale and bow in seconds. He first bowed to me and then to Mike. Mike. Well, as I was to say, the last one is the 0-pointer. As you can probably guess from the name, you won't get any points, so I would avoid that monster at any costs. How the fuck did you not realize that it was me? I made so much effort to change my hair and eye color to the exact same colors you have. Are you bling, you goddamn cockatoo? Mike. Well then, are there any more questions? No one had any. Mike. Good, then please follow me. He escorted us to an indoor city. Holy shit, Nezu, I am impressed. A whole city just for me? I will destroy it with pleasure. Mike gave us 5 minutes to prepare ourselves, and then went in front of the giant gates of the city. Mike, are you ready? Now is probably a good moment to let him know. Me. YHHHHH. I was the only one screaming from the top of my lung, and I saw Mike pale the moment he heard my voice. Then tears were rolling down his cheek. Unfortunately, for him the buzzer went off and the exam started. I was the first one running past him, but not without leaving a message. Me? Come and get me, Dad. https://youtube.be/sexy70gbg. Love to do just what I want. Do it when you say I won't. Now come and watch me move it. I promise I'ma make you lose it. I ran into the city and activated my quirk. Every robot that heard was not in my control, and I didn't want it to make it that easy for my father to go get me. As I was running, I put my earbuds away, looking at me. Not come get it, like what you see, then you got good vision. Boy, this beat hits so different. Let me show you what you've been missing. I could hear him run after me, and also the other students, but the robots were no more just robots. No, they had now a mind behind their actions. The robots began to regroup together, fighting together to bring the candidates down. There was no chance for them to actually beat robots that had teamed up. If you love to party, then the party's in the place. Got the boom. Got the bass. I'ma shake it in your face. Yeah, I love to party, and I love to make it rain. Got the boom, got the bang. You could take that to the bank. Mike, Izuka goddamn Midoriya. Stop running. Let's be honest, how many times did he scream my name and told me to stop running away from them? And how many times did I actually listen in the past? Oh yeah, none. I had my fun. I went to the highest building and watched the poor candidates try to beat them, but they simply refused to team up so that the robots had the advantage. Going dumb, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum. Watch the drum go dumb, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum. Watch the drum go dumb. I was on the roof of the building, waiting for my father. Once he came, I waved to him some steps closer, then turned around dashing for the edge of the building and doing a flip to the next one. Now I was running and jumping from roof to roof. Me, I just want to be free. Ain't no way you stopping me. Said I wanted to fly, so I went and got some wings. For me, this felt like a game I had complete control over. The moment my father was close to me, I commanded a robot to stop him. Pretty funny, actually. My after was about to jump to the next building when all of a sudden a robot grabbed his legs and threw him across the city. Mike, HHHHHH. And I don't need you to act like you gone hold me down, cause I won't believe you. No one can touch me now. In order to have some more fun, I went to the middle of the city and began letting every robot explode in front of a candidate. I am sorry, Granny. Feeling like I run it. Check my pulse over 100. Got no peak. I got no summit. I'm not average. I don't summit. That's from sun up and from sundown, shining like the sun out. Think you mirror image, but you looking like a fun house. After I finished letting every single one explode except the 0-pointer, I waited for him to be released. While I was waiting, I got the brilliant idea of making live a little bit harder for my father. He was already up and on his way to me, that much I could tell. Let's see how you will deal with this. Looking at me. Not come get it, like what you see, then you got good vision. Boy, this beat hits so different. Let me show you what you've been missing. I changed the ability of my voice, and every one of the candidates hearing me was now under my control and after Mike. Good, this was hilarious. Pure chaos. I was sure Nezu was enjoying this. I saw a drone flying my way, and I gave him a big, bright smile and waving to it. While I was at it, began signing to him. Me? Signing I am back. Better than ever. Bring the big guy out. If you love to party, then the party's in the place. Got the boom. Got the bass. I'ma shake it in your face. Yeah, I love to party, and I love to make it rain. Got the boom. Got the bang. You could take that to the bank. As Mike came really close to me, I saw some of the students attacking him. Mike, Izuku. I knew he couldn't use his quirk against them, but it was funny to see him try to avoid everyone. Then the ground began shaking, and next thing I knew was that in front of me, the giant robot came from the ground. Yes, he let me play with the big boy. I let go of everyone's control and focused on the robot. He stretched a hand out for me. I jumped onto his hand, and the robot then placed me on his shoulder. Going dumb, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum. Watch the drum go dumb, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum, dee-dum-dum-dum-dum. Watch the drum go dumb. I then began destroying the whole city while also getting some point because I was saving people. I found some injured candidates that looked like a bomb got them, which was not really wrong. I let the robot eat them since I knew they were safe inside it. Going yeah, going yeah. Scratch that I let the robot eat everyone he could get his hands on. Going dumb, Dum-diddy-dum-dum. 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 Dum-da-doo-dum-dum. Dum-diddy-dum-dum. Dum-diddy-dum-dum, yeah. Watch the drum go dumb. Bang, 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 boom. Bang, 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 boom. Bang, 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 boom. Bang, bang. Da-doo-dum-dum-dum. The kids saw me and the robots and began to run away screaming. This, however, didn't help a lot of them since I was in control of the robot. After eating up every single candidate that was still in the city and didn't escape, I was sure they were safe and sound from the next part one was about to do. I just want to be free. Ain't no way you stopping me. Said I wanted to fly, so I went and got some wings. And I don't need you to act like you gonna hold me down, cause I won't believe you. No one can touch me now. I commanded the robot to pick my father up and let us all be carried to the front gate of the city. Then I deactivated the robot safely. Next thing, I changed the ability of my voice and let the whole city burn. Watch the drum go dumb. Watch the drum go dumb. Watch the drum go dumb. After it was over, the robot was deactivated in a kneeling position, and I jumped down from its shoulder, making a beautifully flip and a turn in midair before rolling myself on the ground. Because of the impact and standing up. This was fun. Deliverer of pure chaos. All my POV. I can't believe my eyes. How can Aizawa stay so calm? I watched the hero and he was hiding his mouth in his scarf. Looking closely, I could see him smile. Then I looked at Nezu, who had let go of his cup of tea, which shattered on the ground, spilling the good tea. He was laughing hysterically. The fuck is wrong with you all? I thought this was a hero school. This school has certainly changed much. Then there was Recovery Girl, who I thought was the most sane person in the room, but oh boy was I wrong. She was sitting there in her chair and cheering him on, even using her cane to make a point and cheer him up. Not you too. This little boy was the personification of pure evil. I couldn't believe them actually cheering the boy on. God has officially left us? On what kind of drug are they? Midnight was on her back, laying on the floor and laughing like there was no tomorrow. The moment she saw my getting yeeted though the sky from a robot was too much for her. Power Loader was on his knees crying. I didn't know why, so I went to his side to cheer him on. Power Loader. He killed them. Me who? Were we watching the same thing? Did I miss something? Who died? Power Loader. My babies. Me huh? Power Loader. He killed my beautiful babies. Me. What are you talking about, my friend? Power Loader. My poor babies. Sob. He is a case for the middle department of a hospital. Me what babies? Power Loader. My inventions, my life, my babies. They are all gone. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next video.